Defense is an art in PES and requires just as much skill, imagination and foresight as anything you might perform with the ball at your player's feet. In the section that follows, we'll show you a wide variety of techniques that will improve your ability to break up attacks and frustrate your opponents in all areas of the pitch. Strong defenders can use physical pressure to impede the free movement of weaker opponents. This can cause an attacker to slow down or be forced into a direction change as the defender attempts to reach the ball. Move your player into position before you act. In this example, we manually direct a defender alongside an opponent, then hold the pass button to lever the attacker off the ball. You can use super cancel to efficiently barge an attacker aside. Another expert technique is to use super cancel to suddenly steer your player in front of an attacker to get a foot to the ball. Direct tackles from the front or side, such as this example, are always very effective. Stationary or slow-moving opponents are harder to tackle. Some PES players will actively encourage you to attempt to challenge. Attackers have greater control of the ball when standing in position or moving slowly. If you hold the sprint button or pass button, it will be easy to evade your defender with a simple direction change. Instead, slow down and stand off, waiting for your opponent to move first. Don't use the sprint button or pass button until you have a clear opening. In these situations, it's vital to have maximum control over your defender at all times. Successfully using sliding tackles against a stationary or slow-moving opponent requires excellent timing. Not only is it fairly easy for him to dodge, the proximity of the ball to his feet increases the chances that you will also foul the player. The secret to great sliding tackles is to watch for the position of the ball. When an opponent knocks the ball ahead, you have an opening to slide in and make clean contact without fouling the attacker. Good defenders will always look for these opportunities. If you have sufficient time, the same principle applies during attempts to hook the ball from in front of a running opponent. Just wait until there is clear ground between the ball and the player before you slide. In this sequence, we look at defensive strategies that can be employed in specific areas of the pitch. The first zone is your opponent's half. Instead of aggressively attempting to make tackles, try to block the route of potential passes without expending too much effort. This is an example of excellent defensive positional play, where the opposing team runs out of options and is forced to take risks. As interceptions are automatic in PES 2009, it's much easier to pick up hurried passes if you have a player in a good position. Zone 2 is where your team should be strongest in defense. Close down opponents relentlessly to prevent them from establishing any rhythm to their passing or movement, and do your utmost to block any gaps that appear. Bringing forwards back to support your midfielders will further reduce the time and space your opponent has on the ball. This will usually force them to move play onto the touchlines and may cause them to make mistakes. On the wings, you should use aggressive double pressing to prevent opposing players from running into the space behind your fullbacks or wingbacks. There's no harm in simply sliding in to knock the ball out of play if necessary. You should do everything to avoid foot races against faster wingers. On the touchlines deep inside your half, use the jockeying technique to prevent passes and crosses. More importantly, standing off in this manner makes it harder for opponents to cut inside along the goal line. You should call side midfielders or defensive midfielders back to support your defenders in these positions. This will make it much harder for the opposing player to make an accurate cross or pass. In your penalty area, timing is everything. Try to avoid tackling or physical pressure unless you're absolutely sure of winning the ball. Aggressive pressing should be avoided. AI players can and will commit stupid fouls. If a player prepares to shoot, a sliding tackle can be a very efficient way to stop a goal-bound effort. When you don't have plenty of men behind the ball, it's vital that you avoid committing your defender to a tackle until you can confidently predict what your opponent will do. Stay goal side and try to hold him up while the rest of your team moves into position. Goalkeepers are automatic. AI control team members, but the small ways in which you can influence the behavior can make a big difference at key moments. With one-on-one situations, it's generally best to move your keeper forward just slightly, and then wait for the right moment to pounce. Sprinting attackers will usually knock the ball further ahead to maximize their movement speed. This gives you a great chance to intercept it. Goalkeepers are quick to go to ground in PES 2009, and are therefore easily fooled by simple turns and feints. The best way to deal with a one-on-one situation is to continue running your defenders back. Tap the through ball button repeatedly to make your keeper hold his position, then aim to get a player onto the line to make a clearance. With goal kicks, a short pass to the closest defender enables you to build from the back. However, human opponents will be wise to this and will close you down very quickly. If you opt for a safer long kick instead, aim for a player in space or a reliable target man. Simply delivering the ball into the center of the park will often be a waste of possession, whereas a good kick can initiate an immediate attack. Kicks made when a keeper is carrying the ball can be a little random, so experts prefer to use the drop ball move. This enables you to use the full range of long passing options, including powerful manual passes. You can use these to begin extremely fast counterattacks. As in real life, a bad first touch can be a major disadvantage in PES. The way in which you receive a pass is arguably more important than the pass itself. In this section, we'll show you useful tips and techniques that will help you to retain possession. An error made by PES novices is to hold the sprint button at all times, even when attempting to control the ball. Doing this instructs a player to knock the ball further forward than usual. Though this type of control can be very handy, accidental use makes it simple for defenders to steal the ball. Use the special controls button and press the directional pad to kill the ball's movement quickly and keep it close to your player's feet. This enables you to put your player's body between the ball and his opponent, making him harder to tackle. You can also employ this technique to construct faster and more fluid passing moves. The directional pad press determines where a player turns as he receives the ball, so it's a vital part of flowing attacks. Another trick is to use the special controls button to slow the pace of the game. encouraging defenders to close you down. This creates space elsewhere, which you can exploit by dodging the incoming tackle. A simple turn or burst of pace will often suffice, though true artists prefer to beat their man with rather more style. The control and tap ball ahead move is an effective way to wrong-foot a marker, or engineer a brief run-up for a cross or shot. Shots made after a run-up tend to be extremely powerful. Instead of taking immediate control, you can press directional pad at an angle that corresponds with the ball's movement to turn and follow it. However, this is risky in busy areas of the pitch. In some instances, you could use a quick cursor change to intercept the ball with a nearby team member instead, completely taking an entire defense by surprise. Using the sprint button in conjunction with the directional pad to control high balls can make your player relatively easy to tackle, but it's a fantastic way to set up stunning shots on goal. Varied, imaginative build-up play is the key to unlocking stubborn defenses. Over the next few minutes, we'll show you a collection of techniques that can be used to retain possession for longer, create better chances in front of goal, and enhance the overall standard of your passing game. Let's begin with through balls. This pass type is easy to perform, yet deadly when used in the correct situations. Low through balls are perfect for central areas. Try to focus on the movement of other players and look for openings where you can thread a weighted pass into their path. Lofted through balls are a great way to play passes onto the touchlines, hit into space for a player to collect. Note that individuals with poor technique will take longer to bring the ball under control. With practice, they can also be used to lob the ball over the heads of opponents in crowded areas, or knock the ball over the back line for a forward to run after. Long lofted through balls are performed by holding the required buttons for longer, and are brilliant for direct attacks when your opponent is playing with a high back line. If your players are too static, through balls can be employed to encourage forward runs. In this instance, we demonstrate how one could be used to bring a player forward to make a powerful shot on goal. 1-2 passes are a great way to create off-the-ball movement, which is very hard to defend against. Lofted return passes are more reliable on the wings, where they can be played over the heads of isolated fullbacks. In central areas, a low, well-timed return ball can be used to dissect a back line with surgical precision. Initiating forward runs with the 1-2 move or the pass and move command is a vital skill. There is no obligation to make an immediate return pass though. When runs are made from deeper positions, you can instead make intermediate passes with other players, as highlighted here, before timing a return ball to reach the original runner as he enters the box. Manual passes are difficult to master, but they enable you to play the ball in very precise directions and at a pace and strength that you decide. With practice, it's possible to construct entire moves without using the standard pass button once. For most players though, they're best used to make specific pass types, For example, long diagonal manual passes are a great way to exploit the pace of a forward in an advanced position. Tap the special controls button when the gauge appears to add height to the pass if required. Watch the goalkeeper's position in the box. If he leaves his line, a quick manual long pass could be used to float the ball over his head. You can use the new unassisted cursor setting to change the way that you play PES, as player switches only occur when you press the relevant button. You can experiment with advanced off-the-ball movement techniques. As you run your player into position, double-tap the special controls button to request a pass. The request pass function is an essential part of the Become a Legend play mode. The trick to getting the best service from your teammates is to time your calls for the ball carefully. Keep moving to avoid your markers and try to find space to run into. A willingness to work hard for your team will really pay off. Successful dribbling in PES 2009 requires a good appreciation of each player's skill on the ball, strength and speed. Raw pace is now much less important, as defenders are capable of accelerating to catch all but the fastest attackers. We can separate the best dribblers into two basic types. The first are classic flair players, typified by their speed and agility. They can slip away from tackles with ease. However, their relative lack of strength means that solid defenders can expect to win physical confrontations if they time their approach carefully. The second type is defined by strength and resistance, as expressed by the attack and body balance ratings. Therefore, a physical approach to winning the ball will be less successful. As they usually lack speed and close control though, it's easier to anticipate their next turn and position a defender to reach the ball with a direct tackle. Overuse of the sprint button makes it simple for defenders to read your intentions and definitely makes your players easier to tackle. Try to vary your pace as much as you can. Use different dribble speeds, sidesteps, stop and go techniques and tricks to keep your opponents guessing. The 90-degree turn move will polarize opinions. Some players will love it, others will bemoan how powerful it is. You can use it at any time while dribbling, and it's very difficult for defenders to anticipate. As the player maintains his movement speed as he turns, it's the obvious way to avoid a tackle and put distance between your player and his marker. With an opponent behind you, bringing your player to an abrupt halt will make him automatically shield the ball. If you then break into an immediate sprint or turn to run in a different direction, you can leave him stumbling in your wake. When physically strong attackers shield the ball, lone defenders will find it very hard to reach it without committing a foul. If you have a powerful target man, this is a clever way to retain possession when your passing options are limited. Crosses are easy to execute, but there are many ways in which you can improve the quality of your delivery into the box. In this part of the coaching DVD, we'll show you how to create better chances from wide positions. The position of your player's body is very important. Close to the edge of the penalty area, he can easily twist to deliver the ball anywhere in the box. As he moves closer to the byline though, the potential crossing area is vastly reduced. You can increase the possible range of cross directions by turning inside just slightly before you kick the ball. This can also help to improve accuracy. If your player has a good weak foot accuracy rating, an alternative approach is to cut back and deliver an in-swinging cross. Your player's body orientation has a massive effect on the quality of crosses. If you cross from the wrong position at the wrong time, the results can be less than impressive. A good way to adjust your player's body position without sacrificing too much pace is to use the sidestep dribble. This too will increase the quality of your crosses. Manual passes can be employed to make precise crosses into the 18-yard area. The manual long pass, for example, could be used to target the opposite side of the pitch, the near post, or just outside the box. A long, lofted manual long pass is useful for reaching a teammate, making a run on the far side of the penalty area. Manual long passes played over shorter distances give defenders very little time to react. Cutting the ball back outside the box with a manual long pass is something that is hard to achieve with standard crosses. During counter-attacks, a low manual pass played into the path of a striker is extremely hard for defenders to deal with. A lofted through ball is a good way to lift a pass over a defender and can set up headers and volleys. They are less useful if the opposing team has plenty of players back, but work well if you catch them on the break. Experienced PES players will regularly cut inside, then roll the ball over to a teammate to tap in. If you have trouble creating space for crosses, try this tactic a couple of times. Your opponent may choose to stand off on the wings in response. You can cross the ball to your forwards from anywhere on the pitch by holding the change player button as you press the long pass button. This early cross technique is most effective when used to supply the ball into the path of a sprinting forward and is very difficult to defend against. Many PES players favour the classic near post header, but we find that adding a little variety to your corner delivery will help you to score more in PES 2009. It always pays to keep your opponents guessing. The power gauge enables you to specify the distance and trajectory of your corner. Fill it up to 25% and the ball will travel to the near post. If you take these very quickly, you can surprise unwary or inexperienced opponents. Fill the bar to approximately halfway to target the center of the box. Tall players can really attack balls played into this area. If you have a player standing beyond the far post, you can fill the gauge completely to reach him. Pressing the special controls button when the power gauge appears adds height at the expense of speed. This can be used to deliver the ball all the way back to your defenders if you like. You can instruct up to 3 players to go forward for corners. These can be chosen prior to a match, but you can change them during a game if required, especially if you're looking for a last-minute equalizer. Go to the formation settings screen and follow the steps shown here, picking players with the best heading ability. Wait until they arrive in the box before you take the corner. Be warned though, sending 3 defenders forward can leave you open to counter-attacks. It It's obviously unwise to send your goalkeeper upfield, but it's enormously satisfying when the gamble pays off. Always examine the radar to look for unmarked teammates. As human opponents will often expect the ball to be delivered into the box, a short pass can cause chaos, as we demonstrate here. If you see a player in space in front of the near post, quickly power up the cross, then immediately press down on the directional pad or left analog stick to drive the ball along the ground. If you have unmarked midfielders just outside the box, you can aim for them to set up spectacular volleys. This seems to work much better than in previous versions of PES. Don't use the high arc corners though, they're far too slow. There's much more to scoring than simply pointing a player at goal before pressing the shoot button. In this sequence, we'll take a look at techniques that will help you to improve your strike rate. The following scenes are designed to help you appreciate the different variables that influence the quality and power of shots. The direction a player faces as he strikes the ball has a profound effect on the power and accuracy of his shooting. When facing away from goal, even the best players will struggle to hit the target unless shooting from very close range. Players directly facing the goal can strike the ball with greater venom and much more precision. It takes skill and composure to engineer a clear chance from a good position, but the results are worthwhile. This is especially important with players who have low shooting stats. Thinking about which foot a player will shoot with is difficult in a match situation, but it can really make a big difference. This player is right-footed. In our first example, he shoots with his weaker left foot. Now let's look at a similar situation with the same player, but this time using his favoured right foot. The improved power, accuracy and technique of the shot is obvious. The distance between the ball and a player's feet affects the quality of his marksmanship. If you shoot when the ball is close to his feet, it's harder to aim and strike it with sufficient power. Though it's not always possible, it's better to push the ball ahead before you strike it. The more time a player has to prepare a shot, the more accurate and powerful it will be. Even with a short run-up, you'll really notice a difference. Having opponents in close proximity has a big influence on a player's ability to shoot. If a player has a low shot technique rating and poor body balance and attack stats, physical pressure will usually cause him to miss-hit the ball. It's always good practice to put a little distance between you and your markers before you kick the ball. A simple 90-degree turn is often enough to create the space you need for a successful shot. Defenders in PES 2009 are much better at automatically blocking shots and have improved positional sense. It's now much harder to squeeze shots through tight gaps. Your opponents will always attempt to intervene in some way. The solution is to work a little harder to create space before you shoot. Defenders are smarter in PES 2009, but they're not invincible. Pay attention to their body position and movement, then use quick turns or feints to create clear openings. With first-time shots and headers, waiting in place often reduces your chances of making good contact. It's usually better to attack the ball. By holding the special controls button, you can adjust your player's position before the ball arrives. This is a great way to escape tight marking. If you have time and space, having the confidence to judge the flight of the ball and move your player accordingly will help you to avoid frustrating scenes like this one. By holding the special controls button, you can reposition a player to perform a more accurate header or a different shot type. In this example, we demonstrate a simple volley. Mastering the required timing isn't easy though, so time spent at the training ground will really help. There are basically 3 types of chip shots. This medium chip shot is most appropriate from longer distances, especially when a goalkeeper has left his line. Don't use too much power though, the timing is very delicate. The short chip shot is used for one-on-one situations with the goalkeeper, as it has a very low trajectory. Try to delay it until the very last moment. Just before the keeper goes to ground, power up a shot and tap the sprint button to lift the ball over him. Finally, the long chip shot is best used up to 30 meters away from goal. If you notice that the keeper has left his line, it's a beautiful and surprisingly accurate way to score. To execute this shot type, your player must always be facing at a 45-degree angle away from your opponent's goal. Scoring from free kicks is a difficult skill to master. In this video, we demonstrate a variety of different free kick situations. As each kicker is unique, you should ideally spend time at the training ground with a wide range of set-piece specialists. Choosing the player is as important as the actual kick itself. For this short free kick, we should select a player with good free kick accuracy and swerve stats. Fill the gauge up to 50%, then press down and tap the pass button to make the ball dip after clearing the wall. This example shows the same free kick, but this time we select a player with excellent shot power and target the keeper's side. Fill the power gauge up to just below the halfway mark, then press up and the through ball button for maximum strength. For shots from medium range, you need to choose a kicker with a good blend of precision and power. Aim over the wall, then press up and tap the pass button to add bend and dip. If you notice a smaller player in the wall, this is something you can use to your advantage. From close range, you need a player with an excellent swerve attribute. For a kick from the right-hand side of the goal, use a left-footed player, and vice versa. Pick your spot carefully, then use left or right to curve the ball into the corner. If your team lacks a dead ball expert, you should try other techniques, such as bringing in a second kicker. Shots on goal after a teammate pushes the ball ahead are very effective. You could also choose to dribble forward instead. Another trick is to try shooting with a manual pass or the long pass button in conjunction with down on the D-pad or analog stick. If your opponent's wall jumps over the ball, these shots are hard for keepers to save. It's harder to defend against indirect free kicks in PES 2009, as players are more accomplished at performing attacking headers and volleys. When you have a free kick near the touchline, you could use an outswinging delivery to give your players time to attack the ball. This is ideal for making powerful kicks and headers. In-swinging kicks are perhaps harder to judge, but a good delivery into a crowded box could go absolutely anywhere. It only takes the slightest touch to potentially divert it past the despairing keeper. If you see a player in a good position, a short manual pass into space is hard for your opponent to anticipate and could set up an immediate shot. This is also useful when you really need to retain possession. Though there are a few small revisions to the throwing system in PES 2009, there are no significant changes. As ever, introducing a little variety will help you to retain possession and surprise your opponent. In PES 2009, the old, impassable barrier is replaced by a spongy zone. Defenders meet resistance as they hit this flexible wall, but can still time their runs carefully to push inside and intercept throws. If the player you target is closely marked, rapidly turn to deliver the ball to another player instead. The quickest way to do this is to use a short manual throw with the right stick. Throws made with the long pass button, or the equivalent manual long throw, can travel up to 20 meters. Players with the long throw special ability can hurl the ball over even greater distances. Visit the Select Thrower menu to pick a player who has this aptitude before you deliver the ball back into play. Deep inside your opponent's half, long-range throws can cause panic in the penalty area. In this section, we examine off-the-ball movement, with a special focus on the powerful Super Cancel command. Mastering this versatile function is a big step on the road to becoming a true PES expert. The Pass and Move command enables you to construct fast and fluid passing moves with plenty of off-the-ball movement. As soon as you make a pass, tap the Special Controls button. This instructs the player to make a forward run in support of the attack. As you can see here, it's very hard for opposing teams to defend against, but it can leave you exposed to counterattacks. Super Cancel is used to regain control over players when they are being automatically steered into position. In its most basic form, a quick tap of Super Cancel will enable you to adjust your player's position to intercept the ball before an opponent reaches it. To activate it, press the Sprint button and Special Controls button simultaneously. A more advanced application of Super Cancel is to use it to cleverly reposition your player before certain actions. In this demonstration, we show how it could be employed to fool a defender and set up a good shooting opportunity. It's also a great way to change your player's angle of approach to perform a more accurate first-time cross or pass. This is a technique that takes lots of time to perfect, but the end results are clearly worthwhile. In defense, you can use Super Cancel to take full control of your player and perform body checks, forcing an opponent from the ball. The stronger your player is, the more effective the result will be. While chasing an opponent, Super Cancel is an efficient way to position your player to perform a perfect sliding tackle. Super Cancel will also help you to win a higher proportion of aerial battles. You can gain an advantage by using super cancel to position your player in front of an opponent before the ball arrives. If you can't get in front of an opponent, super cancel makes it easier to barge him from behind. A small nudge at the right moment may cause him to miss the header entirely, or at least reduce the quality of contact made. Similarly, when in front of an opposing player, super cancel can be used to back into him before the ball arrives. This may leave you in a better position to head the ball or to control it on your player's chest. From living room competitions with friends to online grudge matches and PES tournaments, it's always more impressive to win with style. To master the use of the special tricks and techniques covered here, you should set aside at least an hour to spend in a free training session. Let's look at how tricks can be combined in different situations. From a standing position, try linking the stationary feint, drag back, and stop and go moves. It's not just about showmanship. These moves can draw defenders closer, which makes it easier to get past them. If there's space behind the defender, a great way to beat him is to use a quick step over to disguise a fast, angled sprint. The both feet feint is also a good way to step away from a defender before breaking into a run. At the slow dribble speed, you can perform a variety of techniques that are usually performed from a stationary position. The Matthews feint works very well. The drag back, or V feint, are hard for opponents to anticipate and can be combined to completely wrong-foot a defender. When your player is sprinting, it's good to vary your rhythm. The step over into dash is a great way to leave defenders stumbling behind you. You can also perform sudden direction changes with a kick feint move. The sidestep dribble isn't a move that players seem to use frequently, but it can be combined with the link special step over or diagonal turns to tie defenders up in knots. These sudden directional changes are difficult to defend against. Let's take a look at the special signature moves in PES 2009. The chip ball trick can now be performed by a very limited selection of players. The Cristiano turn adds an air of unpredictability to the handful of stars that can perform it. The Elastico is a stylish way to fool a close marker or evade a tackle. The introduction of the reverse Elastico makes it harder for defenders to guess which way you will turn. The classic Marseille roulette is now the sole preserve of gifted dribblers. Some players have a new and spectacular one-footed variant of this move. The special curling chip shot remains a rare yet thoroughly satisfying way to score. Only a tiny handful of players can perform this unique shot type. Similarly, the context-sensitive Rabona shot is reserved to a very select group of flair players. A greater variety of players can perform the classic both feet feint. Some can also perform the drop shoulder. Or the new push ball feint.